Did the NFL just get one step closer to flag football, or are they just making the game safer? Let's dig into it. Welcome back to the Deep Dig of Sports Pod. I'm your host, D, and today we are digging into a rule change that was just enacted this past Monday. But before we dig into that, be sure to hit that like button, be sure to subscribe to the pod, and drop some comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this specific rule change. And the rule change that came out, one of the rule changes, because there's multiple rule changes that came out of the league meeting for owners on Monday, is the NFL has officially banned what people have deemed the hip drop tackle. And this is something that I kind of saw coming just when they started to name this type of tackle a hip drop. I just kind of seen where this was going. People were campaigning for it. I personally blame that nerd Warren Sharp, but hey, I mean, that's just me. I mean, so the NFL is banning this type of tackle, and there's been mixed, I guess, fanfare about it. I know that a lot of offensive people are like, "Oh yeah, cool. Like we like that. This is less of a chance for us to get hurt." Defensively, though, players are extremely upset. And I understand why. I mean, realistically, everything right now is catered toward the offense. Not only the rules, but the way that the rules are officiated. Everything is coming up as far as offensive players in their advantage. And so, as a defensive player, to enact this type of rule, not only does it lead to, again, subjective, like, okay, is that a hip drop tackle? Is it not a hip drop, quote unquote, hip drop tackle? Is it not? How is this going to affect the game late? How are we going to then get these players to the ground when they are in front of us? I know what everyone, like, from the discourse that I'm seeing online is, well, then you should be wrapping up and going through their body. Okay, but then you're giving up another 3 to 5 yards on average. So, I mean, it is disappointing. I know players such as former player and now probably Hall of Famer JJ Watt has come out in disagreements of this. Current players are coming out in disagreements of this. And I mean, I get it from their point of view. And I also see, like, who wanted this? Realistically, lower leg injuries have been down this past year. I know we had some freak incidents as far as the Aaron Rodgers and things like that, but that wasn't even on this type of tackle. The one that pops up to mind is like the Tony Pollard one from last year, not this past year, but the year before that in the playoffs against the San Francisco 49ers. That was a hip drop tackle. But there was only a couple of instances of this happening. But I mean, realistically, we've seen every time that it was called out, the bot Dove Kleiman was out there like, oh, hip drop tackle. That nerd Warren Sharp was out there like, oh, this is a hip drop tackle. Some of the nerds from the Ringer were like, oh, hip drop tackle. But realistically, I don't think offensive players were calling this and being like, hey, this is so egregious, they were trying to hurt us. No, I think a lot of people felt like, hey, this is just something that's a part of the game. And realistically, the NFL and football in general is a sport where you are going to get hurt. You know that. You understand that stepping out on that field. And I think that this was not a play that was considered a dirty play. I don't think anyone watching who understood football really thought of this as something that was an epidemic that needed to be solved. So who was this really for? And I get it. Now the cream of the crop is we have to protect the offensive players, but why do we have to be so one-sided about it? It's really disappointing, and I think we are seeing this more moving towards a, hey, we're gonna be less contact league. I don't think necessarily, like, I know a lot of people are like, all right, well, might as well throw some flags on them, but I don't think we end up at that point. I mean, but we'll see. And they're doing this while simultaneously trying to get more. I know they're doing it for player health, but they're also trying to get them to play more games and make more money off these people. So it's just a juxtaposition there. It's a dichotomy, or we're trying to do the most, but we're also trying to get the most out of these people. I just think that this was a rule that nobody really asked for, in my opinion. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.